Most salespeople talk themselves out of a sale in the final moments without even realizing it. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you a simple psychological switch that leverages the power of what I call the summary close to finalize deals effortlessly. Why should you listen to me anyway? My name is Jason James. As a former psychiatric nurse, I've taken what I used to do in nursing and applied it into sales over the last decade. This has allowed me to personally generate over 22 million in sales using what I call the invisible sales method. And my clients have gone on to generate over 200 million and beyond using the exact same strategy. And I want to share that with you as best as I can in this video. Now look, if you're new to my channel, make sure you leave me a comment down below or you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified every single time I drop more videos like this. I'm giving you the edge that no one is giving you in sales right now. Everyone talks about strategy, everyone tries to scrape the surface with a bit of psychology, but no one's really teaching influence at a human level, just like I used to do with my patients back in psychiatry. So I want to help you with this, all right? So let's talk about why most sales reps talk themselves out of the sale just before, or the close, should I say, just before they ask for the money. Because let's paint the scenario. Whether you're a sales rep or a business leader or an entrepreneur right now selling your own products or services or even managing a sales team, what happens? Let's look at the journey. The journey is very, very simple. Someone will see some kind of advert or some kind of call to action to raise their hand to speak to you, whether that's to book on a discovery call or actually book onto a sales pitch, or you present your offer to them. Some way they've actually landed on this particular call. Now, here's the problem. Most people think that selling is done on the call. And yes, you could argue to a certain degree it is. However, what they're failing to realize is most of the sale, in fact, I would argue up to 80% of it, should be happening before you even meet the prospect, before you even speak to them, before they even see you. Most of the sales should be happening. Now, in my invisible sales method, I have something that is called the stage one, which is the cultivate stage. Now, the cultivate stage is where we do the pre-sale. 80% of the selling happens before the next step, which is the actual sale part, right? Now, here's the thing. Part of that involves looking at your own sales psychology. Because let's be perfectly honest, whatever you think, you're going to project onto other people. And have you heard that saying before? Thoughts become things. Now, this isn't some kind of woo-woo, whatever it is statement. It's actually true. Because whatever we think, we perceive. Like we almost go, right, our perception is that this person probably isn't going to say yes. And therefore, all throughout the conversation, when we're talking to the prospect, we're looking for micro signals and we're looking for confirmation of what we already think, which is that they're not going to say yes. So if the prospect doesn't smile, if the prospect looks at us in a funny way, if the prospect sits back for some reason and crosses their arms, we start to overanalyze this behavior and try and link it to what we already perceived, which is they're not going to buy from me anyway. And we start to kill the sale before we've even made the sale. So in the pre-sale, in the cultivate stage, it's really important that you start to look at yourself. Be honest with yourself. Most sales reps and most business owners who are trying to sell right now are taking their own personal belief system and projecting it onto the prospect. Look, I don't care if you've got a great offer. I don't care if you believe your offer is the best in the world. If unconsciously you've got some issues with your own self-worth, if you're not good with yourself, if you don't value what you do, if you don't feel that you're quite where you should be in life, therefore you can't possibly be selling this person, this prospect, your product or service because you haven't quote unquote made it yet or whatever it is. If you've got any of that garbage going on, guess what's going to happen? It's going to show up in your sales call. It's going to show up in how you ask for the sale. Now, for some of you, you might be going, but Justin, I can read the script well, and when I get to the end, that's when it all falls apart. Yes, because when you're reading a script, number one, that's the worst thing you can do because you're completely disconnected from the prospect. And the second thing is, when you're reading a script, of course, it's going to give you that false sense of comfort because you feel like you've got something to control the situation. You've got something guiding you so you don't feel out of control or forget what to say. And that's the problem, my friends, because when it comes to the close, it changes. Because now, all this crap that you already thought over here, I'm not good enough, they're not going to buy, they're going to think it's too expensive, they're going to say I need to think about it, they're going to say I need to speak to my wife, my cat, my dog, whoever they need to think about. All of this stuff that you were thinking they were going to do happens over here because you manifested it. You allowed it to happen. You were expecting it. You know, it's like when you're driving towards the traffic lights and you're going in your head, don't go red, don't go red, don't go red. Oh man, and it goes red, right? It's exactly the same thing here. You're attracting it into your life. Think about it. How many times have you been driving towards the traffic lights not thinking about it going red and it stayed green. Ever had that happen to you? It's the same thing in sales. If you're projecting all this crap into your sales conversation, then guess what's going to happen at the end? Exactly that. So why do most sales reps do this? Because like I said, they'll follow the script, they'll think they've got this in the bag, and then they'll cower at the last minute. And it comes out in even the most minuscule fashion. It could be a subtle change in tonality. It could be a subtle shift in your voice projection. It could be a subtle shift in your body language or eye contact that makes it all fall apart. Because at the end of the day, when you're asking for money, you need to ask with certainty, not uncertainty. And here's the interesting thing. People buy more of what they're missing, not what they already have. Now, if your prospect has jumped on a call with you and they're already uncertain, as in they're uncertain about their future, they're uncertain about life, they're uncertain about their results, they're just uncertain about what's going on in their world right now, and you present with uncertainty, do you really think they want to buy more of what they've already got? I mean, who wants to buy another dose of uncertainty? No, they're like, hey, I'm already feeling confused. Why on God's earth would I come to you? You don't look very certain about what you're doing. No, you see where I'm going with this? People will buy what's missing in them. They will gravitate towards any voids in their life, what's missing. So if you show up with certainty when you ask for the sale, if you show up in certainty during the whole presentation and at the close, you're presenting with certainty. You're asking for the money with certainty. There's no uncertainty here. They're feeling uncertain. They gravitate towards your certainty because they want more certainty in their life. Guess what happens? They say yes. But when you fizzle out at the end, you know, when you change your tonality and they go, well, what's the price, or how much is it? And you go, oh, the price is only £500 or $500. Like that's a question tone. No, first of all, it's not a price; it's an investment. So when someone says to you, so what's the price to work with you? Glad you asked. Before I even go into that, may I ask you a question? What makes you think this is even going to work for you? Do you see what I've just done there? I have pushed back. I've pushed back. I'm not giving them the price. In fact, we're not going to tell them the price. We're going to tell them the investment in a moment. I'm going to change their language as well because I don't like the word price. I don't like the word cost. Cost sounds like you're never going to see it again. Investment means you're going to get a return on it, right? So I'm going to change the prospect's language in a moment. But for you, before you even tell them what the investment is, push back. What we're trying to edge towards is what I said at the beginning of this video, the summary close. We want to edge back to summarizing what their problems were when they first arrived. What did they try that hasn't worked? What they're hoping to achieve? And how am I actually going to help them do that? I want them to sell themselves. I don't want to convince them to do anything. I want them to sell themselves. So by me not giving them the investment and pushing back to them and telling them to tell me how do they think I'm going to be able to help them, I'm now getting them to sell themselves. Is this making sense? Now, once I'm happy they've sold themselves enough, I'm going to summarize. I'm going to summarize their problems. I'm going to go, okay, so all of these problems that you were having, people ghosting you, not showing up for calls, close rate not being very, very good, cash collected not being very, very good, all that kind of stuff. Please tell me, is there anything specific that we've discussed today that you know is going to help when we start working together? Now, I'm getting them now to link what I'm offering them to their specific problems in their own words. I'm now going to ask them, again, summarizing, okay, great. So, Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, can you tell me specifically how soon you think when we start working with this, because you've seen all my clients get quick results, how soon are we going to get X, Y, Z, which is what they wanted instead? They're going to go, well, it sounds like if I do this, this, and this, like you told me to, I could at least hit some of those targets by next week. Great. So by next week, you would have hit an extra 10K in your business. Fantastic, brilliant, brilliant stuff. And then obviously over the next month or so, we're aiming towards that 100K mark. Brilliant, fantastic. That we'll smash it out the park together. Great. So now I've sold them well, they've sold themselves essentially on the goal, where they're going to get to. Then and only then will I now start to discuss the investment. Now, I don't need to go straight into the investment with them. I could ask them, well, what would it be worth to you? Because the intrinsic value of 100K month is 1.2 million over the next 12 months. So I'm trying to get them to understand that actually the investment to work with me is a fraction of what they're going to get in return. Like literally, if they're going to do 1.2 million, even if I asked you for $500,000, you're still more than 50% up. You making sense? So but obviously I'm not going to ask them for $500,000, but my point is you've got to get them to create this contrast of intrinsic value of investing with you. So ask them, well, what would it be worth to you? Now, when people ask people, what would it be worth to you? They're getting them to try and price it up in their head. No, you don't want to do that. You want to help them to create a value of what you're offering. So for example, if what you do is going to generate someone an extra $100,000 a month, you let them know, well, great, look, based on the fact that what we're going to be working on is going to generate you an extra 100K a month, the intrinsic value of that over the next year is 1.2 million. The value of that consistently over the next 3 years, even if we didn't grow any more after that, is 3.6 million in extra sales for you. So based on that, what would you say this would be worth to you to invest to work with me right now? Now they're making a price comparison between 3.6 million and what they're willing to drop to make that 3.6 million. You shouldn't, if you've done what I teach people to do correctly at the top of the funnel, you shouldn't get any time wasters or idiots telling you a couple of $100. You shouldn't get any of those time wasters on your call anyway. So what you should be listening out for is a serious offer. They might go, well, you know what? If I were going to make 3.6 million over the next 3 years by investing one-off with you right now, I'd be willing to pay $20,000. Or I'd be willing to pay $50,000 or whatever it is. And it's a reasonable investment, right? ROI, it's a reasonable return on investment for that. So beautiful thing is for example, if you're selling a 10K product, but they've said they're willing to give you 20. Well, when you tell them it's only 10, it's going to be a pleasant surprise for them because they were willing to drop double that. Is this making sense? So I'm trying to get the prospect to create a value that's realistic and one that they would be willing to invest to get that 3.6 million or whatever figure you've created with them. So once you've done that, you can then pleasantly surprise them with what the actual investment is, and then you'll go straight into asking for it. There's none of this, what do you think? No. How would you like to invest? Visa, debit, MasterCard, bank transfer? Which one should I put down right now? I'm just setting up your logins or whatever it is. You just make, it's what we call the assumption close, right? It's the assumptive close. We're just making the assumption, but the assumption isn't just made blind so that you get pushback. The assumption has been done because they've already told you they were willing to pay 20K, but this is only 10. Yeah? So this is what I'm trying to say to you guys. Using the summary close, it's not just about using it on the call. It's about teeing stuff up before you get on a call. You've got to work on this. And most sales reps and most business owners and most entrepreneurs who are trying to sell have got demons that they're battling over here. They maybe had a crap month. They maybe had the last person hang up on them. They maybe had a no. They maybe got some crap going on in their personal life. They're getting triggered by their partner. They've got bills to pay. Whatever is going on in their personal life, they're bringing it into the sales conversation. It's flopping right at the last minute because all of that uncertainty is built up inside of them. They're asking for the sale with uncertainty. The prospect doesn't want to buy more uncertainty. In fact, they want certainty. So they ditch you and they go and buy from someone who's more certain than you. Is this making sense? That needs to stop, my friends. Now, I've only just scratched the surface on this in this video. What I'd love you to do is take the next logical step. Now, you can sit here and watch more of my videos. By the way, go ahead. There's loads of videos on YouTube, on my channel that you can watch. Or you can do what savvy people do, which is bypass all the watching the videos and cut to the chase and start getting results tomorrow. How do you want to do that? It's very, very simple. Somewhere around this video, there's either a link in the description or you can comment the word sales down below and I'll personally send you an invite to book an application with us. Now, the application isn't a pitch. It's a quick conversation to see where you're at right now, where you want to be, how we can install the invisible sales method into your business quickly, whether that's you selling your own products or services, whether that's you being a sales rep wanting to have the extra edge over your competition and your colleagues, or whether you're a business leader or a sales leader who wants to roll this out to your team. Let's have a conversation how we can install it quickly and get you results in a matter of days, if not weeks, to get this stuff over the line and make more money in your business. Now, if you want some help with that, conversations cost nothing. We've got an incredible 3-month program that we can jump on, which will have you not only make money quickly, but install a longer play so that you don't need me anymore and you can go off and freaking crush it. We have places right now available. We can't take on everybody clearly because we can't work with everybody. And that's not because we're better than anyone. We know who we do our best work with. So if right now you're someone who's not willing to invest any time or money into closing more, this isn't for you. If you're not already generating between 10 and 20,000 in sales per month, this isn't going to be for you because I can't help you. If you're a newbie just starting out in sales, I can't help you. It's not for you. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I just know the people that work with me are already making sales. What they're missing is the invisible sales method, which allows them to sell without selling, close more of the leads they're already getting rather than go out and find new ones and make more money. If that sounds like you, comment sales down below or click on the link somewhere in the video description to book in to have a quick conversation with us. It could either be with me or one of my executive team. Either way, we'll reach out to you. We'll get that scheduled in and you can have the invisible sales method working for you very, very quickly. I'm very blessed to have done this all over the world for thousands of entrepreneurs, and I'd love you to be next, my friends. So if you enjoyed this video, if you got value from it, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell as well so you get notified every single time I drop new content. And for the savvy ones, comment sales down below or click on the link. Let's have a conversation. But until the next time, I wish you all the best.